What's up, Auburn School District? Yeah. Bringing in that good spirit here.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I love it.
What's up, Isaiah?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome, Auburn School District, to our conversation around the front porch principles. With me today, I have a team of teachers. We have DJ Wade on the Wheels of Steel. We are here to discuss with you how to prepare the front porch as we get ready to embark on hybrid learning. And we're excited about that because we want to see our kids. We want to see our kids. And so with us today, I'm going to have the teachers go around and introduce themselves. With us today are teachers from the elementary level, middle school level, and high school level. And then we have DJ Wade. He's going to introduce himself too. So go ahead, teachers, and introduce yourselves to our audience today.
Hi, my name is Angelica Howell, and I teach first grade at Alpaca.
Hello, I'm Brian Hennigan, and I teach fourth grade at Alpaca Elementary.
I'm Alethea Dozier. I teach 8th grade at Cascade Middle School.
And I'm Kelly Love, and I teach EL and ELA and drawing at West Auburn High School.
My name is Wade Antonio Caldwell, and I am one of the co-founders of Youth Equity Stewardship, and I also am a consultant with Deep Equity and done a lot of work with Auburn School District. So really honored to be here with everybody.
Well, I'm honored to have every single one of you here today. And again, my name is Isaiah Johnson. I am the Director of Equity, Family Engagement, and Outreach. We wanted to do something special as we prepare for hybrid learning. So we're talking about the front porch principles, the front porch principles. And when we're talking about those principles, we're talking about the 7 principles of culturally responsive teaching. So the first 3 principles, we consider those the front porch. So what are those? Number 1, students are affirmed in their cultural connections. That's the number 1. Number 2, teachers are personally inviting. And then number 3, the classroom is physically and culturally inviting. So we're talking about the front porch principles today. And with us are teachers who are very skilled at making sure that front porch is ready. I know my grandma was all about making sure the front porch was clean. And if that front porch wasn't clean, she said then the house was dirty. And usually her house was clean on the inside, but there's something about making sure that front porch is clean and making sure that front porch is ready for your guests to come into the house. And so grandma always said, keep the front porch clean, Isaiah. And so let's talk about how are we keeping the front porch clean?
Shout out to grandma.
Yeah, just like my grandma did. So here's the question we're asking our distinguished teachers here. What teaching practices are you doing that you are particularly proud of and inspired by and would like to share with others that connects to the front porch principles? So Miss Angelica Howell, talk to us. Share your response with to that question.
Okay, my first thought about the front porch is feeling welcoming, and I always want my classroom to feel welcoming to each student and that they see themselves there. And so I've spent a lot of time and money in changing my classroom library and getting books that represent everyone. I saw a great podcast that says you need to have books that are mirrors and windows, and so you got to be able to see yourself and also see other cultures and see other people in them. And so my library, I make sure it's very diverse. And then I talked to our EL teacher about our specific demographics at our school. And I made sure I made a culture board that I have. I've put it in the front of the school, and I've also put it in my classroom that represents all the cultures at our school. And then at the front of my door, I thought, well, there's kids who speak every different language, and I don't want them to think that there's anything wrong with that. And so I have welcome in every different language on there. And I just want to make sure that they're seen and heard and affirmed. And also, I've been doing some SEL lessons, social emotional lessons, and they deal a lot with empathy. And I thought, what a great trait to partner with diversity. And so if you ask any first grader in my class, they can tell you what empathy means. They can tell you what diversity means. They can tell you what racism is and how not to be a bully and how not to be racist. And they are great about it. And they've done beautiful art projects that have shown me that they really deeply understand the concepts. And so now I get to hang those up But when we were virtual, I did PowerPoints, and so they could see their art project and talk to each other about it. So I really want to make sure that it's not, oh no, I do not see your color and I love everybody. I want to show them I see your color, I love your color. That's what makes this beautiful, and that's what makes this class special.
Man, I'm giving you some snaps on that. That's what I'm talking about, Miss Howell. That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you sharing those wonderful strategies that you do with your students. Mr. Hennigan, we're talking about the front porch. What are you proud of, and what has inspired you during this time? And also, what are you getting ready to do as we prepare for hybrid learning?
Well, thank you for the question. You know, just like your grandmother's front porch, there was always some good music playing at my grandma's front porch. So, you know, you can really bring your family together by get to know the students and find out what music they're into that's appropriate for your audience and, you know, for where you are. It's important for the teacher to connect with students culturally and individually on a personal level, but it's also important for the kids to connect with each other. So set up a family environment and do this through your class meeting. That's something I'm really proud of, because in the class meeting, we have positive affirmations that state, I matter as a person. I am important. I am kind. And these are affirmations that our kids need to hear, especially during this hectic and traumatic time, that they are still valued in our eyes, and they're all individually, you know. Another thing is allow time for students to share what they're going through. Give them a voice. Give the ones that don't have an opportunity to speak up, whether you're in person or remote. You know, we can't really take anything, or there is no, we can't get anything out of the students unless we invest in them personally, and that's each one. So continue to create a class creed that brings your group together. Enjoy your family, whether they're hybrid or in person, and unite those two groups through the class meeting, through music, and getting to know them on an individual level. That's how you're gonna create a welcoming front porch, you know, Mr. Isaiah?
Man, Mr. Hennigan, that's that. I love that. I love the affirmations. I love that, you know, the voice, making sure students have voice. That's awesome. Man, that's just great stuff. So let's move from elementary now to middle school. We have Ms. Dozier with us. So Ms. Dozier, talk to us about your front porch principles and the things you do with your students.
Yeah, well, I love what everybody has said so far, and it's all such amazing things. I've always kind of prided myself in the idea that my classroom management skills were great, but I didn't realize I was really talking about the whole kid when I was talking about my management. And so with this whole idea of these 7 principles, I've come to kind of realize that, you know, in middle school, they're really all a big bundle of emotions. And I've kept with the idea that that quote by Roosevelt, no one knows how much you know until they know how much you care. A middle schooler needs to know that you care first, foremost. You could be the smartest person in the room. They aren't going to process anything that you say. So first of all, it starts with just what they see when they walk in, right? They look around your room, and do they see themselves in any representation? Are there flags about them? Are there words that have to do with them? Are there pictures? What's going on around them? What do they see, right? I really had to ask myself that. I had to take some stuff down at first, because I was like, it wasn't bad stuff. It was just wasn't everyone. And if it's not everyone, then everyone doesn't feel and see themselves. So I kind of had to adjust on that. Specifically, I'm a language arts teacher. And so really when I'm going through, you know, we have curriculum that was chosen by Auburn pretty well as far as trying to have diversity and, you know, kind of include that culture. But I really, if I don't have it, I'm searching to add it on. I'm making sure in the novels, in the stories, right? In the authors, if I bring in speakers or I bring in YouTubes or whatever I do, are they seeing themselves in these people as leaders? Because all our kids can be leaders, and middle schoolers are trying to figure out which way they're going to go. And we all know that they can go and they can lead. We just got to show them the way to go, right? But the biggest thing for me about the front porch is that affirmation. Once they're there, they feel like they belong, but are they affirmed in who they are, right? We have a phrase at our school that says, we all belong at Cascade. We all, everyone, every day, everywhere. We all belong. And that idea of it is inside of their cultures, rituals, you know, traditions on that front porch, which I think is kind of a fun thing. I always think of it, you're on the front porch, it's clean, it's welcome, it's got this great music. Now, what do you have for them? What kind of, do you have sweet tea? But what if they don't like it? Do you have Kool-Aid? Do you have tea with lemon? You know, what do you got the Coke? I don't know. What do you got, right? What do you have for them? Is it about them? Do they feel like inside of that space, yeah, they see themselves, but anything that they are is appreciated. And so I just really love the way that the whole child is just celebrated, and you can do that and what they see, what you bring in. You can do that by just asking, just getting involved, asking small things like good things every day, right? What are your good things today? Did you keep the toothpaste on your toothbrush when you were brushing it? It's little, it's good. Let's celebrate, right? And so front porch principals, I just never want to be the reason that a kid shuts down. I always want to make sure that they are there and they are open and ready to learn.
Oh man, you just said something at the end that was very powerful, that you don't want to be the reason a kid shuts down. Wow. That's the power that we have as teachers. And that's why this front porch is critical, right? And I love what you said about the sweet tea. By the way, my grandma made the best sweet tea in the whole world.
I might have to, I make some good stuff.
Come on now, come on. And so yeah, I mean, I love that. I love it. And so that's our middle school perspective. Let's go into the high school now, where we have Miss Kelly Love from West Auburn. Talk to us about the front porch principles and the things you're doing with your students.
Well, I'm thinking, it's almost been a year since we've been in quarantine, and I told myself at the beginning, like, just forward think. And I'm always trying to help high school students. And by the way, I was a middle school teacher for 12 years, so I get it. But yeah, just think ahead, see the person that you're going to be as you walk through this path. And one of those things was just making sure I kept in contact with students. I send them weekly letters. I'm also in charge of ASB with students and just making sure that we're doing events so they can at least see us, at certain times during the year. And I cannot wait till we get back in the building and I can open up my classroom, with music. I do drawing and we do ELA and just have that space for them, and the walls are for them, and just showing what they can do and sharing what they have. I mean, that's just kind of been a personal philosophy of mine always, is to always have space for them to show their work, their passions, what's important to them. So, and I have to give a shout out to my admin, because they have been so supportive this entire time. I would not have the energy or the bandwidth to look forward into this next couple of weeks without their love and support for the staff and, for all of us and the students. So, nod to them. So they've been great.
Man, shout out to Mr. Robinson and Miss Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not related. So yeah.
Shout out to them for their hard work and allowing you to be yourself in this environment that we're in. It's a crazy environment, right? We're not used to this as teachers, but it's awesome to hear the great things that are being done and how you guys are preparing that front porch for your students. So Wade, for those of that don't know Wade is part of our YES program here, which stands for Youth Equity Stewardship. And so we invited him into the space to kind of chime in a little bit. What are your thoughts around the front porch, Wade?
Well, I tell you what, it's really inspiring to be around a group of educators that are being so intentional around that front porch. I love the idea of keeping it clean, and that just means so much, because that cleanliness is about a cleanliness of spirit, a cleanliness of authenticity, right? The fact that you really care. I'm just getting such a good vibe from this group. I really do appreciate you, Ms. Love, speaking to your experience as a middle school teacher. As we travel the country and talk about the history of our teaching occupation, you hear a lot of people referring to their middle school days as they're recovering from their middle school days. So I'm glad that you really showcase it in the right light, which is what an amazing transitional space to be. What a place to be in service to young people. And Isaiah, you know that the Youth Equity Stewardship, we do this across all the different age groups. One thing we're noticing is that the younger and younger we get, the more and more impressed we get. In fact, we kind of find that the younger you are, perhaps maybe the more wisdom you carry. So I think so many indigenous cultures have recognized that elders, as they're kind of getting into that stage of life, they begin to really watch the children who remind them of what life is really all about. So these conversations, the fact that you're bringing in conversations around race, bringing in conversations that we know are challenging, we know can be very divisive, but when we approach it in the spirit of building community, it's necessary. It's actually building up those skills so that we really know how to navigate in the world we actually live in, and not a world that education was designed for over a century ago. So, the work we're doing, I think, is, it taps into everything that I've heard, really building that sense of community, this idea of allowing students to see themselves in a very magical, honorable way. We love this idea that everybody is a unique artist, that artists are not unique people, that we are all unique artists. And I love that. It reminds me too of this idea of two people in the world, some who see, nothing is a miracle, and some who see everything as a miracle. And either way, whether we think of nothing as a miracle because we always expect everything to be interesting and fascinating, or we see everything as a miracle and that we're always surprised and shocked, whichever way we go with that, students feel it. They feel when we are genuinely engaged with their growth. And also when we are vulnerable enough to express the growth that is happening when we are interacting with them. It's a reciprocal relationship. So that sense of like symbiotic relation is something that I think we can speak to, that we are needing to share power with young people and just asserting the humanity that we all bring across the different generations.
Wow. Woo. Man, I am inspired. And I hope those that are watching this, you're inspired now. You're inspired to get that front porch ready for your students. And hopefully you heard some ideas. You've heard some strategies, some things that maybe you can just, implement right away. As we, again, want to make sure that front porch is ready for our students. So we thank you guys for listening. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank this panel, awesome panel. I'm gonna give you guys some love. Awesome panel for bringing your ideas, for being vulnerable in this space, right? Because it's always hard to talk about strategies to your peers and your colleagues. And thank you for joining us for this opportunity to do this and to talk about the front porch principles. So we're gonna take it out from here, man. Wade, put some music on, man.
Let's pump it up. All right. Hey, thank you, Isaiah. Thank you, everybody.
Peace out, everybody. Yeah. Be optimistic, y'all.